Here I am. That ended just when it was getting good then, didn't it? Oh, whoa, hang on. My head's gone a bit weird. I guess my lighting's not good enough. I'll sit a bit closer. Hang on. There we go. Is that close enough? Oh, here we are. That was, it was just getting good there when they turned that off. Bit of a shame. Anyway, welcome to the prison edition of the, it does seem as if most of you didn't get nicked. So I'm pleased about that. I was expecting at least 5,000-6,000 of you to have currently be getting introduced to Randy Ron in the local jail. But it seems like we're doing quite well looking at the numbers. So let's have a quick look. Thanks to everyone who's tuning in. 400 already. That's pretty good. How's everyone doing? I'll quickly address the important people in the chat. Carl Burton now then. World Champion CFC's in. All right. Who else? Council Estate Rach. Nice one. Talking about the good old days when the shit that she put up her nose was good. Not really a strong suit of mine, that being a bootneck. CDT in the Royal Marines, so not really a druggy me. But I do drink enough booze to kill 10 paratroopers every time I go for a pint. So close enough, right? Close enough. John Hunter's in now then. Who else? Ams is in. All right, Ams, how are you? All the regulars are in now then. Stewie, how are you doing? And Davey Barker, all right. And Stephen I'll get to mention anyway because he said UTFB, all right. Right, so looks like it went off all right in the old protest there. Very pleasantly surprised by that. BBC's numbers are way off, as you might expect, as usual. Have you seen? I hate the BBC. I hate the BBC. It's mad, isn't it? Because I've been a trendsetter there. I like to think that I was on top of that years ago. I'm not like one of those people who wants to say, the band. I was there before the band was big, but definitely I was talking about salting the earth where the BBC stands years before anyone else got into it. 10 years, in fact, longer, probably about 12, 13 years ago, maybe a bit longer. Basically, when I was living in York in the UK, so it's about 13 years ago, that was when I went, hang on a sec, this is just commie propaganda. What am I paying for this for? And then I stopped paying my TV license. And then fat birds knocking on my door all the time. Straight away. And one of them rang me up and was like, why haven't you got a TV license? And I went, because I don't watch telly. And she went, yeah, you do. Like, proper, like, arguing with me like my mother-in-law. I was like, listen, fat stuff. And I could tell she was fat. Not just because she just had one of them voices, but because she appeared like, she sounded like she was eating a sausage roll while we were having the conversation. She was like, you do. I was like, shut it, Tubbs. Send someone around my house. Send someone around my house. I'll take great pleasure in you wasting your petrol to send them all the way around my house for me to tell them to do one. Yeah, and that's my favourite line. When they what's your phone number again? 0121 do one. That's what they get from me. So the BBC kind of suck my stump as far as I'm concerned. I was a trendsetter. I was about 15 years ago. I cancelled my BBC TV licence. Never ever paid another one. I told you lot, you don't need one. If you're sensible, you just don't watch live broadcasts. All I do is watch YouTube anyway. And even if you have a telly, all you do is don't plug the aerial in. Like, that's what we used to do. I just didn't even have an aerial anywhere near it. So on the off chance they somehow get a warrant to come and check your house, you're in the clear. You video the whole journey and you go, listen, you can, I don't know how it works. I don't know if they can get a warrant to get in your house. But even on the off chance they do, you just video them and you go, look, TV, there is one, but it's not even plugged into an aerial. All I use this for is for my computer. Because that's all I've ever done. I plug my desktop PC into the computer. I use a wireless keyboard for stuff. And I watched, this is before all the TVs had apps on them. I was an early adopter of YouTube. YouTube's amazing. I never ever watch TV. If I want to watch telly, I put YouTube on. So you don't need to get one anyway. And on the off chance they can get a warrant, which I don't think they can, well, you video them the whole time and you go, yep, I don't watch TV. So I'm not paying my license. Why would you want to pay for full-blown propaganda from people that despise you? Why would you want to do that? Makes no sense to me. So the commie dogs haven't had a penny out of me for about 15 years. I am the anti-BBC. not only do I think it should be defunded, I think the BBC, I think Broadcasting House should be bulldozed during a live broadcast of Match of the Day. All of the brickwork, like Troy, all of the brickwork taken away and then fill the hole in and then salt the earth and deny the BBC ever existed. Build a multi-story car park on top of it. Waxing Miracle reminded me of the Gobbletron 3000. I never did patent the Gobbletron 3000. Waxing Miracle must be a long-term viewer because I think Gobbletron was first mentioned during the lockdown, wasn't it? I said they just want to lock you in your house with the Gobbletron. I mean, there's worse ways to go. There's worse ways to go than locked into your house, plugged into your Gobbletron. But still, it's for Americans watching, gobble is a crude northern euphemism for a woman performing oral sex on a man. Obviously, because we're a crude people, so when you want to proposition a woman up north, you'll say something debonair and smooth and sophisticated, like, "How pet, any chance of a gobble, like?" That's what a gobble is. So obviously I was floating the idea of inventing the Gobbletron for pleasuring the men while they're locked in their house all day. Came up in dispatches. Someone's pinched my idea then. Neil Young's giving me an 8 and Sarah. Thanks very much. Again, I'm soft and sentimental about the little nations we used to pick on in our juvenile, good-natured banter when I was a young man, like Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. How can you have a chip on your shoulder about the Sweaties and the Welsh and the Irish when the choice is between them? Oh, you do not know the way. It's not hard, is it? It's not hard. I am getting loads today. You guys are. Is everyone pissed? Is that what's going on? Greetings from the Capital Boozers, pissed as a newt. Don't tell the Bootneck. Missed most of the speeches, but saw Katie Hopkins. Definitely would. Yeah, people are more attractive when they've got some gravitas, haven't they? Margaret Thatcher was only like a 3 out of 10. I'm attracted to power. Civil Defence UK for a beer. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Much appreciated. Yeah, it's a mad time to be alive, isn't it? I'm just glad no one got Brano. I honestly thought that the regulars at Allen's would have a truck apiece hurtling down the London Bridge at some point. Maybe there is one good point of the regulars at the snack bar ruining the capital for us all forever by constantly running people down. Because they've had to install all them concrete blocks now, haven't they? So thank God they couldn't blast their way through a bridge and kill everyone. Because, hoisted by their own petard. See, so there's one good point. They would have loved to have drove one through a load of proud nationalist protesters, wouldn't they? So that's beauty. The real GW, obviously a recent American. I'm picking up some UK phrases. Yeah, well, that is a gobble. Also a nosh. You can say any chance of a nosh, if you're feeling it. If you don't want to be crude, that's the polite way of saying it. Or you can say something whimsical and rhyming. Poetry. Yeah, Shakespearean if you really want to impress them. Like, get your gums round me plums. But you got to keep that for the big. If like a 10 out of 10 stunner comes in, that's when you pull that one out. Women get well impressed by poetry. So remember, keep that in your arse pocket for emergency use only. All right. He might show up anyway, Ben. He said he might stick his head in today. So we'll see if he rocks up. All the short chat up lines. Yeah, to be honest, most of the best ones I got from Sid the Sexist. They were before he even joined the Royal Marines. So, yeah, that's that. Right, should we do a bit of news? Let's have a look. First things first, we'll have a quick gander at the BBC just to laugh at their lack of honesty on the BBC. Oh, look, they've updated it. I'm pleasantly surprised. More than 100,000 joined Tommy Robinson's rally as counter-protesters demonstrate. Okay, so I mean, I had to mention the counter-protesters. Can I make myself a little bit littler? There we are. More than 100,000 joined Tommy Robinson rally. So they were honest. Sounds to me like there was about 500,000 there, wasn't there? But anyway, we'll see. We'll see what the lying, dirty, stinking thieving, no good, four-flushing, scum-sucking sack of rats BBC has to say about everything. So let's watch the footage if it shows, because it never does. Oh, there we go. Is there any sound? Doesn't look like it. Aerial video shows the scale of the Unite the Kingdom protest. Massive. Absolutely chocker. Amazing. Look at that sea of flags. That's absolutely class. And thanks to their sterling efforts murdering innocent people for the last 25 years, too many concrete bollards for Akbar Jabari to drive down there. Also, lots of stars and stripes in there, look. So that's good to see. Representing our American cousins after what happened to Charlie. So I love to see that. There's a Welsh flag. Great to see it. Loads of Scottish flags. Marvellous, that. So we were all represented there, even our American cousins. Love to see it. Love to see it. Amazing. But the BBC hated putting that up, didn't they? More than 100,000 people have joined a march in central London organised by FAR. Oh, they have to start straight away for anti-racism. No one's being racist. No one's being racist. This is the thing, right? What really does me head in. People need to start making it clear that loving one thing doesn't mean hating something else. I love Jaffa cakes. Doesn't mean I hate custard creams. Okay, I'm going to have to... If there's a lot more Americans on board, I'm going to have to stop using all the biscuit references as well. You know what I'm saying, though? It's ridiculous. If you say, I love my daughter, it doesn't mean you hate your son. Why do they have to call you far right just because you love your country? England, the UK, especially England, because it's worse than in Ireland or Scotland or Wales, it's the only country where loving your country is a slur and a smear. There's nothing wrong with loving your country. No one's saying, I love my country, so blow all the rest of them up. No one said that. I love my fellow Englishmen, therefore, kick a paddy to death on the car park roof. No one says any of that stuff. These people are just slurring you, smearing your good name. They're awful people. They're just awful. And they lie all the time, and that's why they're losing. Because you can lie to some of the people some of the time. Some of the people all the time, or all the people some of the time, but you can't just lie all the time. And that's what they're doing. So it sounds like there was about 500,000 people there. In fact, looking at some of the numbers, even a million, right? There's absolutely loads of people there. No, see, Kelly, this is... I have to disagree here, right? At least in America, you're allowed to fly your own flag. In England, you put your flag up and people go, oh, yeah, he's in the Gestapo. Think of that. The one country that put more effort in than anyone else to fighting the one bollock painter. And yet they're the ones who get neat shit for it all the time. It doesn't even make sense. It's totally illogical. At least in America, that's what I like about America. You see the stars and stripes everywhere. You see people flying the flag proudly in the United States, especially in the South. In England, people seem to be embarrassed about it just because a few football hooligans, occasionally had one when they filled someone in. But it's a genuine political attack by the far left to make you ashamed of your own country. And like I said, you shouldn't even pay any mind. They'll never shame me for flying a flag of any nation of, my ancestry, be it English, American, British, Scottish, Irish, Welsh, whatever. It's ludicrous. Find your way, man. You know you're pissed when a fella from Middlesbrough is correcting your grammar. Oh, no, and you spelt Middlesbrough wrong. It hasn't got an O in it. Peterborough does and Scarborough does, but we say Middlesbrough because there's no... although, why do we call them the borough then? We shouldn't say up the borough, we should say up the borough, but that sounds a bit like up the bum. So I can see why we don't. Anyway, thanks for the Ayrton Senna. It sounds like it was a hoofing day, regardless of the lies of the BBC. It says protesters forming the Unite the Kingdom rally gathered on Whitehall, where they heard a series of speeches, including from tech billionaire Elon. Whoa, I didn't know Elon Musk jumped on. That's amazing. That's amazing. While the first half of the day was largely peaceful, oh, here we go. Here we go. The Metropolitan Police later said officers were facing unacceptable violence with bottles, flares and other projectiles being thrown at them. 9 people have been arrested. So, let me give you some actual statistics, right, that make sense. First of all, at your average football match in the UK on a Saturday, 40 or 50 people get arrested. Because if you have 50,000 people in one place, someone will be a knobhead and cause some bother and there'll be a bit of a dust-up. So the fact that, let's say 500,000, we'll just give them the advantage. Let's say 500,000 people were there. The only 9 people got arrested is a miracle. That is the most peaceful protest in the history of the UK. If they had 500,000 hippie stoners from California, you know the types, hey, far out, man, in dressing gowns, okay, there'd be more than 9 people got arrested. So not only was that not a Chewy protest, it was the most peaceful large protest in British history. I was about that for a statistic. Hold on, I'll change. I can't have an orange jumpsuit on, but I'll change my colour. Hang on. That's enough orange. There we go. How's that? Doesn't look. It's like puke. There we go. There we go. You can have that. Close enough, innit? Close enough. Nearly in the nick. So yeah. So 9 Antifa got arrested. So basically, proving us right, the common sense conservatives and the patriots are far more good-natured and agreeable than anyone in British history. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. 423 arrests over 2 days of the Nottingham Carnival. I don't see the BBC reporting on that. Ooh, unacceptable violence. Hang on. I seen a Somalian bloke literally take his chopper out, put it in a policewoman's pocket and then go and dry hump her aggressively on national television. He didn't talk about that. He literally put his pork sword in a policewoman's pocket and shook his arse. They don't see them whinging about that, do you? So this is ludicrous. It's just full-blown propaganda, as usual, from the loony left at the BBC. What's this? There was barely any violence, but I think I managed to make a Rosa question her career path by pointing out she was nothing more than a DEI hire Teletubby. Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's no better way to cheer up a policewoman than by calling her a fat knacker. I'm sure you're convinced her. My mate got a haircut last week and I said he looks like Adolf. He said, well, at least I don't look like Starmer. Yeah. That's how low the bar is. That's how low the bar is. So, most peaceful protest in history. That's what the headline should say. Most peaceful protest in British history. Some 1,000 Met officers were deployed ahead of the protest with barriers in place to create a sterile area between the pleasant, well-meaning, good-natured centre-right and the despicable, detestable, murderous, hateful, sparrow-boned, Mr. Glass-looking commie rats. An extra 500 officers were also present from Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire and Devon and Cornwall. There they are, look, the Roscopter flying about. Just after mid-afternoon, the 2 demonstrations were divided on Whitehall by a line of police officers. One side waved placards saying, refugees welcome, stop the far right, and the other, Unite the Kingdom group, flew Union and St. George flags. So no one even had any obscene signs, did they? I would have had a big sign in all capital letters, you do not know the way. That's a good one. Or mostly peaceful, communist fireball. How about that? I'd have had loads of antagonistic signs. I'd have had a big, massive sign that we could spread out over about 40 people saying Sadiq Khan is Osama bin Laden personified. I'd have had a big sign saying Oh no, I nearly said the whole thing. Angela Rayner.
You stupid bitch, you filthy slut!
Always makes me laugh the way he calls her a filthy slut in that film. She's like a young mother. It's like he's having a fight with a crack whore, is it? So that's beauty. I'd have had loads of good signs. I'd have had signs taking the piss out the Chancellor because Rachel Reeves. Oh no. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, what does she get again? Oh, yeah.
She's a spastic.
Yes, indeed, she's a spastic, my shaven-headed friend, so she deserved a sign as well. I'd have made a sign saying, the British Chancellor is worse at mathematics than Diane Abacus, and the whole reason we call her Diane Abacus is because she has to take off her socks and shoes to count past 10. So you could have had loads of fun with signs, loads of them. Who else could we rip the piss out of? The Home Secretary is a terrorist. I'd have just had a sign like that. Shabana Mahmood. Oh, said that. Shabana Mahmood.
Some of it was fun.
Is a terrorist. There's another good one. Easy, nice and pithy, rolls off the tongue. You don't need too much paint. The Home Secretary is a terrorist. She is. She's held up signs, aggressive, pro-Pally flags. She's definitely a full-blown supporter of the regulars at the snack bar who think it's a good idea to scatter women and children across pop concerts because a big book of desert fables plagiarised by a pot-bellied epileptic dwarf from the desert tells them to do it. I mean, you can't make it up, can you? You can't make it up. They actually think it's the literal word of God. It's plagiarised from the other two. It's unbelievable. And he couldn't even read all right. And he was a little fat pot-bellied dwarf. Who listens to little fat pot-bellied dwarfs other than, several of our hobbit-looking members of parliament? Who's the one who proper looks like a hobbit? I was taking a piss out of him the other day on Twitter. I forget his name now. One of them genuinely looks like Samwise Gamgee. It's like he's just got a face that you'd never get tired of slapping. Some little fat porky communist. Anyway, so they're all scumbags. They're absolute weasels. Mandelson, he needs a clip. I need a clip for Mandelson. Something like clearly raving, like John Inman from Are You Being Served? That would be a good one for Mandelson, wouldn't it? Mandelson, ooh, hello. What did he used to go? I'm free. Little camp Mandel perv. So he's great. I can't believe he ever got the job. I can't believe anyone ever read Peter Mandelson's CV and went, oh, you know what? We should make him the ambassador to the United States. Unbelievable. The man is a degenerate. The stuff on Peter Mandelson's hard drive would make anyone, any sane person puke. If you took the gimp from Pulp Fiction and he shambled into your bedroom with his full suit on and his leathers, and you open Peter Mandelson's laptop in front of him, he'd go, and spew in he'd have to unzip his gimp mask to let the bark out. That's how much of a degenerate pervert Mandelson is. I guarantee he should be in jail. If he wasn't a politician, he'd be in jail. Honestly, if my laptop had half the images on it that Mandelson's has, I'd get 25 years for it. So that's where we're at. Gave him a job. Brilliant idea. What else have we got? Sorry if I'm ranting, but politicians, they give me a rage boner. Officers are having to intervene in multiple locations to stop United Kingdom protesters trying to access sterile areas or get to opposing groups. You're a liar. You're a liar. This is the most peaceful protest I've ever seen anywhere, ever. If you arrest 50 people every Saturday at every football ground in the UK, how can 1 million people only end up in 9 arrests if the officers are having to intervene in multiple locations to stop them? They're the peaceful ones. It's obvious to anyone who can read. This is a pinko hippie protest. Nobody wants any violence. This is like if you cloned the dude 500,000 times. This is the protest you get. Hey, like, far out, man. Like, there's no way they can paint 9 arrests from 1 million people as a violent protest, no matter how hard they try. Look, I've seen rushing through the crowd of the stand-up to racism supporters. Yeah, because the stand-up to racism supporters are communist revolutionaries who think it's perfectly acceptable to murder people. So who do you think's going to be the aggressive ones? I mean, think of that. Look what's gone on the last few days. After what happened to Charlie Kirk, disgraceful, cold-blooded murder, one of the worst things I've ever seen. And thousands of them have been all over social media all week, crowing about it. Crowing about it. Like, oh, marvellous. Do his wife and kids next. And then they go on TV and go, oh, we're the tolerant ones. Sorry. Give his wife and kids a bullet, and that makes you the tolerant one. Am I living on clown world, upside down world? Find your way band, please stop giving me money. You're obviously pissed and throwing your cash around willingly. Unless, of course, you're drinking in Weatherspoons, at which point you can afford it, it's fine. If you're drinking Ruddle's Best, $1.99 a pint, the amount of money you'll save on a day out in London. Think of that. 10 pints of Ruddle's Best in London, 20 quid. If you have 10 pints in a normal pub in London, you're looking at about, what, 90? It's a fiver a pint now, more than that. It's like 6 quid a pint now, isn't it, in London? Lammy looks like a negative of Dr. Evil. Well, that's good. That's good. I've got one we can use. Hang on. All we have to do is I can black him up using a filter, and we can use my Gordon Brown clip.
Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done.
There you go. So I've already got you covered, mate. I've already got you covered. Thanks for the tenner. Max Q, politicians should be limited to 2 terms, one in Parliament and one in Chalky. Oh, I honestly think, I was reading the comments on Ben's stream yesterday, and one of them said mandatory yearly polygraphs and hard drive checks of politicians. I think I agree with it. So many of them are degenerate perverts and criminal scum. I think I agree with that. I think if you want to be an MP now, we've been so sorely led for so long, it should be every year at random, you can get your house ransacked and polygraphed. Because these people are just deranged, self-serving scum that they're just parasites, aren't they? Parasites. As surely as the leech that I pulled off my left testicle in the swamps of Virginia, American and British politicians are parasites. As surely as any tick, mosquito, leech, they are just scum. Rats in suits, a lot of them. So yeah, I'd drug testing on the list as well. Also, once a year, put them in the stocks and throw rotten turnips and vegetables at them because, frankly, they deserve it. Mr. Steve, Diane Abbott looks like number 2. A little bit. A little bit. Definitely worth spending £2. That, Steve. Fantastic comment. They are just, I hate them. I hate them. They're the worst of us, aren't they? They're the worst of us. I've known this since, I think I've told you a lot this story. Long-term listeners have heard it. I was washing the dishes after the expenses scandal. Americans won't know this, but there was a massive expenses scandal in the UK about, crikey, it was about 2005. It was about 20 years ago now. And a lot of the young people have forgot just how evil and scummy these degenerates are. But basically, it transpired that they were outright fiddling their expenses. And essentially, they were doing things like, one of the Blair babes was the worst. She bought 10 laptops and then she was returning them and keeping the money or giving them to family and friends or putting them on eBay. So knowing that they're not going to really scrutinise IT equipment on your expenses, which are basically unlimited in the UK, she was buying 10 laptops a year. They were fiddling everything. Every single meal they put in the mouths, in the fat mouths, they were expensing. Like normal people like us, your salary pays for your meals, doesn't it? Like you spend money on food, well, you have to pay for that yourself. You can't just expense everything you eat. Elon, SpaceX is a good company to work for. You can expense nearly everything. If I drive to another work location, I get my petrol paid for, gas. If I buy anything when I'm on the road, they'll expense it. And they'll pay for your hotels. But our scumbag thieving politicians, every single meal that fat sack of rat Diane Abbott ever ate, every single Snickers, Twix, donut, I'm just reeling off candy bars, right? Because she doesn't eat vegetables or fruit. You know, every pint of ice cream, Ben and Jerry's, packet of noodle doodles. What else would she eat? Pork chops, sausages, mince. Every single one of them things that she ever put in her mouth, you bought. And she's already getting a massive salary. The whole lot of them are thieving scum. So we don't hate them enough. People say we don't hate the press enough. We don't hate the politicians enough. They are the worst of us. They are lower than a rattlesnake's ballsack. These people are degenerate scum. I absolutely hate them. And most of them are, caveat, many of them are sex offenders, kiddie fiddlers, and degenerate perverts. So that's that. Mince, that's all she eats, mince. She eats mayonnaise directly from the jar with a spoon. Like I'd eat a pint of vanilla ice cream while I'm watching a film. I'm treating myself. She just does that with Hellman's full-fat mayonnaise. These are the creatures. These are the creatures that lord it over us. They're truly contemptible worms. Anyway, I'll get to the end of this story if it kills you or me. Projectiles will throw it all. Bollocks. How do you get 7 paragraphs after telling us there was hundreds of thousands of people there and hardly anyone got arrested? How do you do that? It's not possible, is it? It's like me starting with a sentence like Stevie Wonder has been blind since birth, and then doing 14 paragraphs. He can't see buses, he can't see lorries, he can't see trucks, he can't see motorbikes. Well, what can we go to next? He can't see red, he can't see blue, he can't see green. He can't see man, he can't see woman, he can't see polycule, he can't see unpronounceable commie gibberish 278 different genders. This is filler. The journalist is doing backflips, tying himself in knots, trying to write 20 paragraphs about how there was no violence. How is he doing that? How is he doing that? And they haven't mentioned while they were protesting, have they? No, you're right. They haven't. I'll speed read it. I'll stop ranting. And I want to see if they're actually saying why they're protesting. So they've joined a protest organised by, but why? Like the Kingdom rally, but why? But why? Violence. There was hardly any violence. There was hardly any arrests. There was less arrests than you get on a Saturday at Disneyland. Violence. Oh my God, I'm actually impressed at the skill of the journalist. How is he miracling this much paragraphs about violence out of his arse? Robinson addressed the crowds, criticising politicians for parroting his ideas. He also claimed courts had decided the rights of undocumented migrants superseded those of the claimed. Okay. So, if I was to let myself into a random blind woman's house and start ransacking her stuff and a bobby turned up, do you think I'd get off with a talking to? I mean, it's quite simple. In fact, let's go one step further. If me and 249,999 of my friends, because there was 250,000 diddlers, right? We know this. We know this now, thanks to, not Farage, Rupert. Thanks to Rupert's efforts, we now know that there was approximately 250,000 children trafficked, abused, sexually assaulted, diddled, tortured, like awful. If me and 249,999 of my friends diddled a load of kids over a 20-year period, do you think that the UK courts would have turned a blind eye to it? Do you? Because that's what they did. That's what they did about this. And today, this will blow your mind, but I swear to God, I'm not making it up. I'm not going to go to it because I'm sick of it. I need to get through to this story or I'll just, my head will explode. On Twitter today, all the politicians are up in arms because one Sikh apparently got sexually assaulted yesterday. One. And they ignored 250,000 over a 20-year period. This is the world we're living in. Clown world. Madland, it's off it. I feel like I'm the only sane man on the planet. So this is where we're at. 250,000 minimum abused, tortured and surprise sex children. And the British government and the UK courts and the College of Policing and the Metropolitan, all the big police forces in 85 cities up and down the country, all of that, I'm not making up, you've read it yourselves. 250,000 victims, 85 cities. And today, the BBC are claiming that the UK courts, it's lunacy to suggest that the UK courts have decided the rights of undocumented migrants supersede those of the local community. Yeah. And one Sikh lass got sexually assaulted. And therefore, oh my God, we must melt the world. Also, in a surprisingly staggering piece of hypocrisy, all of the regulars at the snack bar, they were all on there going, oh, I stand in solidarity with our Sikh sister. It's like, really? The people who systematically murder them across the world. The least tolerant religion on planet Earth is the one practiced by the regulars at Alan's marvellous snack bar. Also, I feel like I need to explain this for people asking in the chat. Alan's snack bar, it's because you can't say the M word, you can't say the I word. If you even mention or even slightly criticise the followers of the epileptic plagiarist desert midget, yeah, the followers who like Osama, yeah, the guys who cheered when the Twin Towers went down, those people, if you criticise them in any shape or form on social media in the UK, not only can they ban you, they can arrest you. So we get around this on my channel with the cunning, it's such a clever code word, no military professional or intelligence professional or Fed could ever crack it. We get around this by pointing out that before they blow themselves up, you know, the guys with the hissing backpacks in the pop concerts and in the crowded shopping centres and on the trains and the buses because they are murderous savages, they always shout, Alan's snack bar. And I pointed out, it must be an amazing snack bar. It must be fantastic. They must do the best sausage rolls in the country because everyone's always shouting about it all the time. So obviously we released this limited edition. It's not limited edition. It's trash made by me. Established 610 AD. Eat, enjoy, explode. Welcome to Alan's snack bar. That's why we say the regulars at the snack bar, because you can't criticise them. The UK is a police state. It's a police state. So if anyone was confused, that's why. It's the snack bar. Link in the description there. I think they're quite cheap over in the States because the postage is a lot cheaper. So yeah, if you want an Alan snack bar t-shirt, there's a link for you. Yeah, the regulars at the snack bar. This is the subterfuge you have to use if you want to criticise those ghost shagging savages in the British Isles. I'm sick of using synonyms and euphemisms. I'm running out. Anyway, back to the story. So it's mental. Now the regulars at the snack bar are claiming, oh my God, they killed, they surprise sexed one Sikh. How dare they? Yeah, well, you plugged 250,000 people, you absolute barbarians. So wind your neck in. Anyway, last month, the Court of Appeal overturned an injunction blocking asylum seekers being housed at the... I love how that sentence follows on from, oh, look, this is laughable. He's saying that, you know, their rights supersede the local community. It's laughable to say that. And then the sentence underneath it says, last month, the local community wanted them out. So the Court of Appeal said, you can't throw them out. How does that work? How does that work? How do you write a sentence saying, oh, he made the ludicrous claim that the courts superseded the local community, and then underneath it say, the local community want to throw them out, and the court said, no, you can't. You can't do that. No, that's how ludicrous it is. It's ludicrous. It's like coming home from work, finding one of the regulars at the snack bar, surprise sexing your wife in the marital bed, and when you run over and go, whoa, what are you doing? You raise your fist back, all of a sudden, a judge leaps out of your wardrobe, complete with powdered wig, and goes, whoa. You have to guide him in, son. Then you're like, what? Then copper gets you one arm behind your back, other arm, grab his chopper, guide it in for him. Beep, 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 beep. Reversing. Well, what do you want me to do? What do you mean, Of course, to supersede the local community. That's what the last 20 years have been. The last 20 years have been that. The people hate them. The people want them out. David Cameron won a majority in 2012 because the people said, get them out. And the courts kept saying, no. It doesn't matter how many times you say you want rid of them. You are having them. Tuck him in, read him a story. That's what it's like. Just drop them off in your house, walk them up the stairs. You, tuck him in, read him a story. And I'm like that, reading him the Gruffalo with a gun to my head. All right, mate. Yeah. Do you want a glass of warm milk? It's preposterous what's going on here. I can't believe the BBC. I can't believe that. Musk called for a change of government in the UK. Amazing. Amazing. You can't have another 4 years or whatever the next election is. It's too long. Something's got to be done. There's got to be dissolution of Parliament and a new vote held. God bless Elon Musk. God bless Big Papa Elon. He's been paying my mortgage for the last few years. God bless him. This is why I always wear his merchandise. Falcon 9. That's our rockets fleet. What a marvellous chap. God bless Elon Musk. The next world war that kicks off, we're going to win it thanks to that fella. So the American commies should settle down and start thanking the lucky stars that a singular genius, visionary, hard grafter like Elon Musk chose to move to the United States of America. So that's all I've got to say about Elon. Max Q, if George Orwell were alive today, I think he'd have a good copyright case against the UK government. 100%. They've used it as an instruction manual, haven't they? They're absolute psychos. 5 million turnout, could be more. Crikey, that's a number, isn't it? I didn't know there was that many. I heard 3. I think we want to rein the numbers in a little bit. 5 would be mental, wouldn't it? I don't think there's that many people within about, I don't know, if discounting London, I don't think there's any city in the UK with any near that many people, is there? Anyway, well done, Elon. God bless him. God bless Papa Elon. Katie Hopkins also spoke after earlier appearing alongside Robinson, Lawrence Fox and Ant Middleton. Oh, why don't you call him far right, and him far right, and her far right? I mean, you throw it around willy-nilly. You may as well toss a few more about while you're at it. Look at that photo. That is class. That is class, that, isn't it? I love the bloke in the full-blown Crusader regalia at the front. What a costume. He's even got a sword. It's amazing. Amazing. Aussie flags there, Scots flags. There's a few American flags about. I don't know what that yellow and red one is. That's amazing. I love that. At the Stand Up to Racism rally, Diane Abacus. Here she is. Abacus. Absolute plank. She has got the IQ of a pull-along duck, that one. I wouldn't trust Abacus. Honestly, I wouldn't trust her to run me a bath, let alone run a county. It's deeply shameful to me that we ever let a woman that thick in a position of governance over other people. I genuinely think it's preposterous. It's just mind-blowing, isn't it? Absolutely mind-blowing. I'm sure I've got a good picture of Abacus in here somewhere, haven't I? Oh, no, you won't be able to see it. It can only be an overlay. There, look. That's Diane Abacus on Countdown. Love that. Yeah, she'd need 2 blackboards, that one. Oops, sorry. What do they call it? Dry mark board. Shut up, it's a blackboard. Get over it. Get over it, you losers. Hang on, let's go. We have always defeated racism and violence. Yeah, we have, and we were the good guys. You know, the ones who defeated it. The British people, not Johnny-come-latelys like you. You know, the ones who defeated the real, genuine violence and racism in the last 100 years. The British people. Our people. Not yours. Ours. Both my granddads, Brian and Fred, both of them fought in Germany on the front in the Second World War. What are your ancestors doing? Yeah, what did they do? Nout. Abacus's ancestors were eating tarantulas or some shit. I don't know what the local delicacy is in whatever festering shit pit that they were from, but they didn't pitch in defeating racism and violence. No, that wasn't us. That wasn't you. That was us. So wind your neck in, and the grown-ups are talking. All right? Ahead of the march, the Met confirmed it would not be using live facial recognition. Oh, right, I'll believe that. I'll believe that when I see it. They'll probably hoover about 2,000 people after it. It also said there were particular concerns amongst some in London's snack bar community ahead of the protest, citing a record of factually accurate speaking regarding the midnight proclivities of the kebab shop dwellers. Yeah. No, not record of rhetoric. No. Factually accurate speaking. Because let's just have it said right here and now. Tony Romo didn't do anything wrong. All he did was point out, years before the media let it leak, that up and down the country, grooming gangs, despicable torture, and surprise sex enthusiasts were inhabiting the kebab shops up and down the country, fiddling with the kids, and the British police, the British government, and the mainstream media was colluding to hide it from people. That's all Tony Romo did. So this sentence is outright lies. All he ever did was speak truth to power. That's all he ever did, and apparently they like it. Reject lies. What lies? What lies? What lies? Did they or did they not fiddle 250,000 kids while the British government, the police, and the mainstream media colluded to help them, to lie about it? We've all read Gordon Brown's circular. Oops, sorry. We've all read Gordon Brown. Where is he?
Now, evidently, my cycloptic colleague informs me that that can't be done.
Yeah, we wanted to arrest 250,000 despicable child abusers, and evidently our cycloptic colleague told us it can't be done. That's what happened. That's what happened. Google it. Google Gordon Brown circular. He sent it out there. He told the coppers, we have decided these children have made an informed choice about their sexual behaviour, so we don't get involved. It's not for you to get involved, was the exact words he used. And everybody knows, anyone who's got two brain cells to rub together, that little girls can't make informed choices about getting dragged across a kebab shop and rattled like a barn door in a hurricane by 20 dirty foreign men, right? It's that simple. So don't give me any of this, you cycloptic, one-eyed frisp twat, right? That's a fact. These people are the worst type of scum, not just the perpetrators, but the politicians, the police officers, and the civil servants, and the mainstream media degenerates like Owen Jones who covered it up. So don't dare call me a liar. Don't dare call me a liar, you horrible, whatever that creature is. Who's holding it? I don't even know. The Geggy Ginnock. So that's that. That's what happened. You don't get to call me a liar. No, I tell the truth and you tell lies. Thank God we're nearly at the bottom. I thought I was never going to manage it. The Met said that it had ordered the Unite the Kingdom rally to end by 1800 and the counter-protest to end by 1600, in line with when the organisers told the force they expected speeches to end. Robinson was released from prison. Oh, what's that got to do with anything? What's that got to do with anything? You slimy, thieving... All right, we're not even going to read that bit. We'll just stop it there. We'll just stop it there. Absolutely unbelievable. That was the most peaceful protest in British history. Look at those numbers. 9 arrests. That's the tail of the tape. That's all that matters. After all the ignominies, all the hatred, all the death, Southport, the London bombing, the callous murder of Charlie Kirk and that young blonde lass in the United States, after all the ignominies that were poured against the people of the West, to see how peaceful that protest was should fill you with pride. 9 arrests, honestly, that is a miracle. If Middlesbrough play Newcastle in the football, 100 people get arrested. That shows everything that I was talking about this morning with Nick Buckley. I had a chat with him. The patience and the tolerance and the good nature and the stoicism of the Conservatives and the right-leaning people, centre-right, centrists, even centre-left. I'm not going to tar them all with the same brush. The patience and the tolerance and the good nature of our people is staggering. And those numbers, that is beyond reproach. Tolerant, decent, stoic people. That should make you extremely proud. I just can't believe that they're trying to paint it as if it's as if they're the bad guys because 9 people got arrested. It's the numbers. If there was a million, if Disneyland gets 1 million people through on a weekend, 50 will get arrested. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So yeah, you should be immensely proud of this. I've got 9 minutes left. Should we do something recent from Twitter? Let's have a look and see what's good on here. That was amazing. It was amazing. Look at the crowds there. You can't even see the end of that one. Just disappears off the page. Amazing. So I love that. That is superb. Let's have a look if there's some funny stuff before, just try and end on a high. This rave, that's funny. Look what the left are trying to do now. Cold-blooded murder from a trans activist. Nazir Afzal, the same guy who turned a blind eye to decades of groomers, said, "Oh, Tyler Robinson, he's MAGA, but somehow Democrats and the left are responsible for what appears to be right-on-right violence." Really? Yeah. Do you often shoot people you agree with on everything? Imagine, it was like that. Oh my God, what are you going to kill him for? Because I agree with him on everything. How did that conversation go with his trans girlfriend before he left the house? So first of all, one question. Are you MAGA? Yeah, I'm proper MAGA, me. MAGA as it gets. Can't get enough of MAGA, me. Oh, okay, can I ask you a question then? Yeah, go on, ask away. If you're proper MAGA, why was I sucking your balls last night when I'm a bloke in a frock? Well, if you're MAGA, I'm just curious, I'm packing 8 inches on the slack, and I'm just because I'm wearing a flowery dress, you don't mind ignoring the beard while I give you a gobble. Yeah, well, all MAGA people are like that. No, they aren't. He lived with his trans girlfriend, and he was a radical left-wing activist, and he was rattling a transgender, and he went and shot him because he says evil things about transgenders. He doesn't, you lunatic. Nobody kills anyone because they agree with them all the time. Like he was nodding over his scope. Yeah, that was a good one, Charles. Yeah, I totally agree with you there, Charles. That was amazing. Love that. Bam, bam. It's absolutely lunacy. It's absolute lunacy. Yeah, why are you hanging out with... Weird that, innit? The girlfriend/boyfriend/thing never knew. Oh, you're MAGA, are you? Yeah, I'm MAGA. Were you MAGA when you were hanging out the back of me last night? Yeah, I definitely was. It's completely deranged. So the evil, deceitful, despicable, intolerant, murderous left are just telling even more preposterous lies to try and get away with it. It's absolutely ridiculous. This one, look at this one. This guy, the Oxford Union Secretary, right, as I said here, Sam Mellier got 3 years for politely worded stickers. He didn't do anything wrong. This bloke said, the right wing are cancers that must be taken out by any necessary measure. Okay then, 6 years. Sounds fair to me. If you get 3 years, for politely worded stickers, then you should get 6 for effectively promoting murder, shouldn't you? So I'm just saying, he's another one for the list. And I will say this, serious point. When I was talking to Ben last night, there was some of the Americans, understandably, because the Americans have got the right idea, who were getting annoyed because they're saying I'm against freedom of speech. And what I'm telling you is, I'm not against freedom of speech, but you can't have a phrase like freedom of speech absolutist when you're living in a time like this when there's a war on. Because if you don't address the core of these problems, it'll escalate into a full-blown war, right? Calling yourself a freedom of speech absolutist is only rational when you're not at war with the people. You have to change the rules when there's a conflict on. That's why Trudeau, slippery little soy boy liar that he is, he invoked war powers to steal people's money and stop the truck protests because the rules change when there's a war on, right? If we were all living in a perfectly peaceful time and they hadn't just murdered an innocent man in front of his wife and children, then I'd say, you should be a free speech absolutist. But in a case like this, when you're getting murdered and people going online and saying, do his wife and kids next, I'm sorry, Mr. Actually, that doesn't cut the mustard anymore. You can't just say, actually, freedom of speech absolutist. If you promote murder, that's a step too far. So I'm not saying anyone should get arrested for laughing about it. If you're a degenerate, scum-sucking, lying piece of shit like this guy and you want to laugh about it, you're allowed to laugh about it. But you are not allowed to say, brilliant, go and kill his kids. If you say that, you get locked up. So I'm sorry, you're just wrong if you're on the wrong side of that one. I have an immense amount of tolerance for freedom of speech. I think you should be free to insult people. I think you should be free to be racist. I think you should be free to be sexist, homophobic, call people names, laugh at people's misfortunes. You can do all of that. But you can't tell people to murder people. So hundreds of these rabid communists want to get the front door kicked in, dragged out their house, put in a dark cell, packet of pork scratchings over their head, electrodes on the testicles, and get to work. Okay, the last two I added for embellishment. Don't really have to do those two, although the pork scratchings on the head thing is a good solid technique for regulars at the snack bar. What I'm saying is, if you want to stop violence, you have to get a grip of these type of people. Because as patient and as tolerant and as disciplined as stoic and as good-natured as the Conservatives are, their patience isn't inexhaustible. Jesus was an infinite well of patience. The average Christian, they have a finite amount of it. Me, I'm not a practicing Christian. I'm a wishy-washy agnostic / atheist chap with a soft spot for the church because I grew up with it. So I don't even pretend to be patient. Yeah, on the patient scale, you've got G-Boo, all the Christians, me. Me, I'll happily flip out at a moment's notice. Right? I'm not patient. But they have a finite amount of patience. And if you're going to allow people to constantly go on laughing and joking and making light of murder, I mean, seriously, I seen one on Twitter yesterday, and it was one of the worst things I've ever seen. I'm not, and you know what I'm going to do? I was going to show you it there, but I've changed my mind because I watched it and my blood was boiling. My piss was bubbling away in my bladder. It was like, I swear down, I was fuming. So I don't want to show you it because if you watch this stuff, it'll make you want to hurt people. These type of people, I quoted him there. If you're going to keep allowing that, they're going to snap. I was so angry when I watched this thing of this guy going, ha 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 ha, did you see that guy's neck explode? Ha ha ha. I was like, rage boner, and then cock my shotgun. That's what that made me do. I was like, it made me almost fly into a rage. So I'm telling you, you need to get over this aversion if you're a free speech absolutist. You need to get over that aversion. You should be like me, very, 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 very high tolerance for free speech, but never, ever allow full-blown calls to murder because that drives you into a rage. When I see it, it makes me want to go to war with these people. So if you want to do something sensible, I'm talking to the government, the feds, any coppers that are listening, bring it back from the brink. Round up people like this who are promoting murder and aggressively charge them and do it publicly and make a lot of noise while you're doing it and say, we're not having this anymore. It's gone way too far. We will not tolerate such vitriolic hatred and murder. We're not doing it anymore. And if they do that, they might talk us off the ledge. But if they keep allowing this to happen, you're only gonna get another couple more Charlie Kirks. You're only gonna get another couple more, and then 100 million pissed off rednecks are gonna go, get the gun, Cletus. It's gonna kick off. It's gonna kick off if they don't sort it out. So I'm not saying this because I want it to kick off. I'm saying this because if you don't get a grip of it, it's gonna kick off. I'm a fair-minded chap, but if they kill another couple of prominent Conservatives and the governments don't do anything about it and publicly shame and trial these people, I'm going to be like Cletus. I'm going to suddenly talk like that. Hey, fellas, where do I get my grenades at? That's going to be me. Lock and load. I'm telling you. So they need to get it sorted before it massively kicks off. I think that's about... How long have you had there? 1 hour and 1 minute. I think that'll do you, won't it? I can't go for as long as Ben. Ben, first of all, he takes phone calls from people. Maybe I should start doing that. It gives your voice box a rest. When you're as pissed off as I am, you shout a lot and you've got all your blood rushing to your penis because you've got a rage boner the entire time. It kicks the shit out your vocal cords. Like Liam Gallagher's guttural singing kills your throat. Shouting and being angry with a boner kills your vocal cords. So 1 hour and 1 minute, that'll have to do you. You're done. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. Benjamin didn't turn up. He did say he was out getting some horse feed. Obviously, he was out getting horse feed. He's in Arkansas. He was out getting horse feed whilst wearing no shoes, carrying a general purpose machine gun and a grenade launcher. That's what they do out there. because they're cooler than us. But yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in. Thanks for all the super chats. If I missed anyone, did I miss anyone? Oh, no, I did. Max Q, if I have a window seat, do I have right-wing views? You do in this day and age. As Chubby Brown said, you can't eat brown bread without getting called a racist these days. And Carl Burton, the Ukrainian girl was killed by the very thing Russia is trying to prevent. You could say that, couldn't you? She wouldn't have even been in the United States to get killed if we'd have sorted our lives out. But yeah, anyway, thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for the likes and the shares and the continued support. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of it. And I'll see you all next week. All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon. Toodle pip. Cheers.